Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you've glanced at a news feed literally any time recently, you've definitely seen the barrage of overwhelming and, let's be real, kind of terrifying headlines about artificial intelligence. We're just constantly bombarded with these dramatic claims about what AI can do, what it's secretly planning to do, and how it's going to completely upend reality as we know it. Well, today we are separating the science fiction from the actual computer science. We're going to break down the biggest lies everyone seems to believe about AI.
I mean, will AI steal your job? Can it actually read your mind? Is a full-on robot takeover imminent? Look, if those questions give you a bit of anxiety, you are absolutely not alone. It's so easy to watch this rapid advancement in tech and just assume the worst-case sci-fi movie scenario is right around the corner. But how many of these claims actually hold up to scrutiny? Our mission in this explainer is to tackle these sensationalized fears head-on. We're going to give you the facts and empower you with a real understanding of what this technology actually is.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1. Will AI steal your job? We are debunking the myth of human obsolescence here. So there's this wildly pervasive myth out there that AI is just going to replace every single human job and make us all completely useless. But the reality? It's a whole lot more nuanced than that. Yes, AI is automating repetitive tasks. That is a fact. Whether we're talking data entry, basic scheduling, or routine coding, that stuff is absolutely shifting to machines. But here's the thing. This shift actually creates millions of new opportunities. We're moving away from acting like robots ourselves and stepping into roles where we manage, direct, and collaborate with these new tools. Think about doctors using AI to help diagnose patients way faster, or designers using it to brainstorm concepts. Human workflows are literally being upgraded, not replaced.
And honestly, this is exactly why humans remain totally indispensable. AI just cannot replace our core humanity. Essential skills, things like creativity, leadership, communication, and emotional intelligence, you just can't code those. An AI algorithm doesn't actually understand empathy, right? It can't inspire a team during a tough crisis. And it certainly can't look a patient in the eye to deliver difficult news with genuine compassion. Careers that rely heavily on these deeply human traits, they are always going to need human beings at the helm. So if your job involves connecting with people, leading a team, or thinking outside the box, AI is going to be your assistant for sure, but definitely not your replacement.
Moving right along to Section 2, how smart is AI really? Here, we're separating data processing from true consciousness. Okay, there's this grand illusion out there that AI actually has true understanding, consciousness, and common sense. But the reality paints a very different picture. Fundamentally, AI is just a pattern prediction engine. That's it. It's incredibly fast at processing massive amounts of data and predicting what should logically come next based on that data. It has zero real emotions. It has no common sense. If you ask it a question, it's not sitting there pondering the deep meaning of life to give you an answer. It's just mathematically calculating the most probable string of words to satisfy your prompt. Actually, think about it like a calculator. A calculator can solve incredibly complex math problems instantly, right? Way faster than any human brain ever could. But a calculator doesn't actually understand mathematics. It doesn't grasp the beauty of an equation or the why behind the numbers. That requires a human mathematician. And AI operates the exact same way. It's essentially the ultimate calculator for data and text. It predicts patterns based on the information flowing into its models. But it doesn't think, it doesn't imagine, dream, or make independent moral decisions the way you or I do. It is all processing and absolutely zero comprehension. Which brings us to Section 3, the myth of perfection. Let's talk about why AI isn't always accurate. See, because an AI doesn't actually know anything, it can make some truly spectacular mistakes. You've probably heard of AI hallucinations. This is when the system confidently generates completely false information, incorrect answers, or totally fabricated details, and it presents them to you as absolute fact. It doesn't know it's lying. It's just predicting a pattern that happens to be completely wrong in the real world. And this is exactly why you cannot just take its output at face value. AI can completely misunderstand your prompt and give you a wildly incorrect, yet super convincing answer.
And building on that capacity for error, we also have to talk about its capacity for manipulation through deepfakes. We've all seen them, right? Those highly convincing AI-generated fake images, videos, or audio recordings that look terrifyingly real. This is the dark side of AI's pattern matching capabilities. It's a huge reminder that just because we see a video of something or read an article that sounds super authoritative, we still have to rely heavily on our own human critical thinking. We absolutely must verify what we see and use our own judgment.
Let's dive into Section 4, the robot takeover threat. This is Hollywood fiction versus strict limits. You hear this one all the time. The myth that AI is inherently dangerous all on its own, like the code itself has some sort of malicious intent. But the reality is way less theatrical. AI is a tool. It is exactly like electricity or the internet. Now, is electricity dangerous? Well, yeah, it can be if it's used improperly, but it also powers our hospitals, our schools, and space exploration. AI is exactly the same. Its impact, whether we're using it for groundbreaking healthcare diagnostics, catching financial fraud, or educating students, depends entirely on human choices. The technology itself is completely neutral. So just to put your mind at ease here, the actual science tells a very, very different story from the movies. Instead of super intelligent, self-aware software breaking out of its programming to conquer the world, today's AI operates within incredibly strict limits, and it requires constant human oversight. Scientists are constantly monitoring these systems. There is absolutely zero evidence, none, that current AI systems are becoming self-aware or conscious. At the end of the day, it is just software, plain and simple, running on servers. All right, our final section. Section 5. AI is for everyone. And spoiler alert, you don't need to be a programmer. The whole democratization of AI means that everyday users today aren't just folks out in Silicon Valley writing complex code. Not at all. They're students summarizing research, they're teachers drafting up lesson plans, they're writers, content creators, business owners, and designers. We now have these easily available chat interfaces, image generation apps, and productivity tools that help with everything from translation to video editing to just drafting a better email. Literally anyone can use AI today. It is rapidly becoming as fundamental and accessible as opening up a word processor or using a search engine. And that leads us straight to the core message of this entire explainer. The people who learn how to use AI won't be replaced. They will be the ones shaping the future. Listen, AI is not magic, and it is certainly not your enemy. It is quite literally one of the most powerful tools humanity has ever created. By moving past the fear and the myths, you move yourself into a really empowered, opportunistic position. If you take the time to learn how to collaborate with this tech, you become invaluable. So, as we wrap up our analysis of these big lies, I want to leave you with a question to really reflect on. Which AI myth surprised you the most today? Take a quick moment to think about the misconceptions you might have held before watching this. Look, the future isn't about humans versus machines. It's about humans using machines to reach entirely new